Hello and thank you for downloading episode 67 of We Got This with Mark and Hal. If you love the show that you are listening to right now, or if it's your first time and you enjoy what you hear, do us a big favor. Share the show with your friends. It's really, really easy to do. Just take the link bit.ly/We Got This podcast, send it in a text, tweet it out, Facebook it, email it. And if they open it on their mobile phone, they'll be able to subscribe and listen right away. Even if they do it on a computer, they'll be able to listen. So share the show, share the love, share the arguments. Prove to your friends that you were right about the topics that we decided for you. It really means a lot to us, and it's going to help us take this show worldwide. And now, without any further ado, here's episode 67 of We Got This with Mark and Hal. Hello, I'm Hal Lublin.
And I'm Mark Gagliardi.
Since the dawn of humanity, one issue has gone unsettled. With the fate of the world in the balance, we're here to settle, once and for all, crushed or cubed ice.
That's right. Don't worry, everyone. We got this.
Podcasts should have a theme song. Podcasts should not have a theme song. Yes, they should. No, they shouldn't. They sound good. Yeah, but people are just going to skip past it. You know what? You're right. We got this.
Hello, everybody.
What's up, listeners? Thanks for listening to We Got This with Mark and Hal. My name is Mark.
And my name is Hal, and we're cold.
Still?
Yes, I kept it. Guys, I was thinking about changing my name, but I didn't. I actually I wanted my name to be Scott at a certain point in my life. Not in my career. I want to say my career,
Really?
but I meant my life. Yeah, because that's my middle name.
If you were going to go by a stage name, would you go by Scott Lublin?
Yes.
Or Scott Halblin?
No.
Mix it all up?
You know what? My, my stage name was going to be, George Felix, which are the first names of my paternal and maternal grandparents or fathers.
Oh, that's very cool.
Yes.
I always wanted, I was hoping my name was taken in SAG, so I would have to go by a different name.
Right.
For those who don't know, in the Screen Actors Guild, there can only be one person with each name. That's why there's a lot of people with middle initials in their names. I wanted to be, if Mark Gagliardi was taken, I wanted to be Rocky Gagliardi.
In a lot of ways you are.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Mark, we're talking about ice.
Yeah, let's talk about ice.
Yeah.
You don't drink sodas.
I don't.
And you don't drink alcohol.
Correct.
You do drink lemonade.
Yes.
You don't drink much that requires ice.
No, but I do drink water.
Like your glass of milk only requires a curly straw, right?
That is true. That is right. And I get the kind that also is like a pair of glasses. So one end goes in and it goes all around my face and cools me off.
Sure.
But I still enjoy, ice is good in water. Ice is good in all of the drinks, especially fountain drinks like fruit punch and lemonade. Like I certainly have a,
so you will use a fountain. You will use a fountain drink. You just won't get the bubble stuff. You'll get, the uncarbonated things.
Yeah.
But you will still use a soda fountain.
Yeah. You know those.
So if you're familiar with going up and pushing the button and the ice coming out and being either delighted or upset by what you get.
Yes. I know how drink machines work,
Okay.
Mark.
Okay.
This was suggested by Shelley Godefren. Or maybe it's just Godfriend. She wants to know.
Got a friend? You got a friend in us, Shelley.
Yeah,
Thank you.
that's right. You do. And now you have a pun about your name that you've probably never heard.
Yeah, you're welcome. You can use that in one of your skits.
Does your family suggest comedy stuff to you all the time?
All the time. I've told you the one that my dad suggests on a nearly weekly basis, right?
You have, but share it with all of us.
Yeah. He's, all right, I got an idea for a movie. My dad is a doctor, and so it always begins, so this guy, he's a doctor by day, but by night, and it's always whatever my dad is fantasizing he will be at that moment. It's like, so by day, he's a doctor, but at night, he's a ninja. Or at night, he's a spy.
I would rather see, the movie about a spy who is a doctor at night.
I would watch that.
Yeah. There are a lot more complications inherent in that, but,
yeah. But wait, I only want to watch the daytime part though, of him being a spy.
Oh no, you only get to watch the nighttime part.
Oh, yeah, all right.
Sorry to tell you. It's
like, isn't being a doctor enough? There's lots of movies and TV shows where just being a doctor is hard.
Well, this is an independent film, so you just get to hear him talk about all the cool stuff. You don't get to see any of it. Shelley wants to know. Shelley wants to know, Mark, which is better, cubed ice or crushed ice? Now, cubed could be It could be the giant squares that you would have in like the giant square or round, just any kind of, an ice shape, let's say, versus crushed ice in a drink. Do we agree?
Yes.
That's what we're talking about here?
Anything big and like, that's cubes.
Yes, exactly. I hear them happening. Now you have,
by the way, that's my cocktail.
Okay. You have a glass of whiskey there?
I have a glass of whiskey, yeah, with some rocks in it.
Fair enough.
I will say this. If alcohol is any indication, then, cubed ice hands down for alcohol.
Sure.
Because of the surface area of, look, we'll get into the science of all of this. Are we ready to launch in? Can we launch into this?
So you bring up a good point, which is like in an alcoholic drink, like the whiskey that you have, you want one giant ice cube. You want it to melt as slowly as possible. It's meant to cool the drink, not water it down.
If ice's function is to cool, then cubed ice has to win because it's cooling and lasts longer.
Look, if we were talking solely about what goes in whiskey, absolutely. You don't want to put a shovel full of crushed ice into your whiskey. Although,
well, what are you putting in a lemonade or a soda? Like the reason for the ice in whatever capacity is to keep something cold. Well, now we're talking just in a drink or ice in general, like glacial ice and ice that you pack fish in. Like, well, no, we're talking about in a drink.
We're talking about ice for consumption. I mean, that's what I assume, because you could go to a lot of places. You don't put cubed ice out in the seafood section of your local supermarket. That's crushed ice.
Yeah, you don't put that on those giant, cocktail bricks.
That's right. Now, crushed ice, I think, I actually like it in some things. Especially in water. Water, I think, is where it holds the edge. Because a lot of times I want my water cooler, but I also don't want to give up. When you put ice in a drink, in any drink, you're sacrificing space where liquid can go, right?
Well, not necessarily, because you can always refill.
No, you can, but you've made
I guess in the space, yes. Yeah. Yeah.
I always feel like crushed ice takes up less it does the same job with less real estate because it's spread.
Less real estate.
I mean, you don't need as much crushed ice as you do cubed ice to achieve the same effect. Like you leave the ice cube in there for a second longer. But the ice cubes,
the crushed ice is gone so fast.
Right. But
clearly we are on different sides of this argument. Hal Lublin.
Mark Gagliardi, what I'm telling you is you need a little bit of crushed ice. It cools everything out. It spreads out immediately. When you put cubed ice in a cup, you have to fill it like, all right, a third or a half, or if you really need it cold, if whatever the liquid is really warm, then you're going like 3/4 ice. And you're basically watering down your ice instead of icing down whatever your liquid is.
Well, I don't know. I feel like, yes, maybe in the short term, but if you put just a little bit of crushed ice in a glass and fill the glass up the rest of the way, that ice is going to be vanished by the time the glass is full.
Sure. Look,
for me, the more important thing for me is not how quickly it cools the drink, but the longevity of the ice once it does. I like to sip. I'm a gentleman, Hal.
I hear that. I hear that your gentleman's bell. Is that the gentleman's bell? Is just an ice.
It's the gentleman's bell.
Whiskey?
Yeah. I've been to a bar and I was like, yeah, can I get a whiskey, gentleman's bell style?
Now, whiskey was the drink of, was that the drink of preference backstage at Thrilling Adventure? Or was that scotch?
Both. We would have scotch and we would have, bourbon whiskey.
Cause I know that Mark Evan Jackson.
It was usually scotch.
Okay. That's,
bourbons were rarer. Mark Evan Jackson would usually show up with a bottle of Macallan's cask strength scotch, which is, holy moly, Jackson knows his booze and would get us all nice and toasted for a show. Am I talking out of turn?
No.
Yeah, we did some of those shows, a little toasted.
You guys did. I was the sober sister.
Mm-hmm.
And then Padgett would ever
Which was great because we always knew we were like, screw it, Hal can drive if we need him to.
Yeah, I was in charge of driving the Thrilling Adventure Hour mystery machine from city to city when we did shows. That was my job. But did people put ice in that in general in the bourbon?
No, there was never ice backstage though. There was no ice backstage at Largo.
But do you prefer drinks with ice? I mean, would you rather have, cause you could chill well, you can't chill the glass, I guess. I guess you have to.
You
put
can chill
ice
a glass. You just keep it in the freezer.
Right. But I mean, you don't.
You can also put a drink in a shaker and ice and chill it that way.
Okay.
I like ice, but I like a big. Here's the thing. I'm a guy who enjoys a drink, and because of that, people have over the years given me as presents like gift versions of ice.
Okay.
I keep getting gift ice, and I love it. I just think it's very telling that everyone's like, oh, this guy drinks. Give him the ice thing. So I have in my freezer right now, I have giant ice cubes. I have shaped ice cubes, out of a silicone mold. So you can get like dollar signs, and I have little, DJ turntables.
Okay.
I also have, whiskey stones that you keep in the freezer, and those, spoiler alert, do not work. They don't keep anything cold because as soon as you put them in a drink, they get to drink temperature. But they're a fun novelty.
Right.
And I also have a thing that turns a cup into half ice. I have ice shots, which is shooter molds for doing shots of whiskey or whatever, but they are little molds for shot glasses actually made out of ice. And, to top that off, I have a bottle chiller, which, looks like, an EpiPen that you drop down inside a bottle, and it keeps it cold while you're drinking from a bottle. So I have every weird, late night Japanese invention ice product that you can get.
You have Batman's utility belt, but for functioning alcoholics.
Yeah. And as a functioning alcoholic,
yes.
As a functioning alcoholic,
you're doing great. Keep it together.
Thank you. Which show are you? Is this Fresh Air?
Yes. Tell me all your secrets.
Terry Gross is one of the coolest people in the whole world. Will you agree with me?
Of course I will. And she's
I'm like, how do you know everything about everything?
Yeah, fantastic interviewer. Do you think one day, Mark, that
I would say all-time best interviewer.
Wouldn't you love to meet Terry Gross? Wouldn't it be great if we somehow, this became like the little podcast that could, and we got big enough that Terry Gross wanted to interview us?
Oh, man.
What a dream.
What if we invite Terry Gross on here to be our guest, but then we just do everything we can to pimp ourselves out and talk about ourselves so that she has no choice but to ask us questions about our lives?
Terry, if you're out there listening, you and I have that Philadelphia connection, and I'm calling.
Oh, finally, it's good for something.
Listen, come. We'll get you a cheesesteak. We'll sit down. We'll talk. It'll be great. Look, Mark and I are both very popular in the podcasting world. We're both incidental characters on Welcome to Night Vale.
That we are.
One of us is well known for their work on the Thrilling Adventure Hour. Both of us.
Yes, you are, Hal.
Both of us are accomplished voice actors. Terry, I'm not going to give you our whole CV. Just have us on. It'll be a great time. I promise. Please, Terry, please.
Hal, it's getting desperate, Hal.
Fine.
All right. Let's get back to the topic of ice.
Okay.
Because I've got 13% battery left on this computer.
Well, look.
We talk a lot.
That's true. Cubed ice is definitely has an advantage in that there are so many different versions of it that you can get. Like you said, you got the DJ tables. There's the ice Death Star. They're the rounded kind of ice cubes in general. You can also take an ice cube mold and pour orange or apple juice in it or lemonade and make little popsicles that you can eat later on. Now, are you an ice chewer? Do you chew the ice after?
Well, and this is why I would have an argument in favor of crushed ice.
Okay.
Because crushed ice is much gentler on your teeth, and I am an ice chewer.
All right.
You can tell me it's bad for me. I'm still going to do it. It's a terrible habit. I realize that, but I am an ice chewer. And crushed ice, the best ice is crunch ice. Do you know crunch ice?
No.
They're like teeny little cylinders. You know the ones I'm talking about?
Are they
you get them in movie theaters a lot?
Like plutonium rods?
No, you know what they look like? They look like if you had a barrel and you hit it with Rick Moranis' shrinking machine from that movie. And then you had a little barrel the size of a pea.
Honey, I Shrunk the Ice. See, so that to me
Yeah.
is crushed ice. I put that in the crushed ice category.
Yes, I would categorize that as crushed ice as well. I've heard it called crunch ice, crushed ice, either one. But I'm a fan of that kind of ice because I am an ice chewer. And I don't want to be, but it's a terrible habit. And it denotes sexual frustration, apparently, from what I've heard. But I don't know why that would be the case. That's just what we used to tell girls in high school. We'd be like, hey, you know that if you're crunching your ice like that, it means you're sexually frustrated. And they'd be like, shut up, dummy. Eat your Doritos that you just pumped nacho cheese sauce into and then go to class.
So,
but that said, aside from ice crunching, which is to me the only reason to get the crushed ice,
right.
Because otherwise what you gain in immediacy of chill, you lose instantly in, the fact that it dissolves so quickly and you have within 5 minutes watered down whatever you're drinking.
don't you find though, I agree with that. I don't like my drinks being watered down either. I hate it. That's why, like, my favorite drink in the world is apple juice. And I hate ice in it because eventually it's going to, whatever the ice is going to make it watery. And I would rather drink it warmer. Like, I'm not going to drink it hot, but I would rather have it be room temperature than be iced and watered down.
Yes.
That's why the only drink I really like ice in is water, because all you're going to get is more water.
Yes, and I don't like a watered down drink. So when I drink whiskey on the rocks, I have to drink it very fast and then just keep refilling it.
Oh, Mark, someday you're going to make some therapist very happy. You know,
man, I'm going to be a great dad, yo.
Come here. Who's daddy's?
Juliana, I love you if you're listening.
Now, I want to throw a third possibility in here. I know it's a little late in the game.
Oh.
And here's the possibility, okay? It's cubed ice versus crushed ice versus no ice. And while you think about that, why don't we take a brief break? How does that sound?
That sounds great.
All right. Then break we will.
I'm Allegra Ringo, a dog owner.
And I'm Renee Colbert, a dog wanter, and we host a show called Can I Pet Your Dog? The podcast for unapologetic dog lovers.
You can find us every Tuesday on MaximumFun.org or on iTunes.
So, now what is this? Is it just a podcast where all we do is talk about dogs? Sort of. We definitely have a segment called Dogs We Met This Week, where we tell you about, dogs we met this week.
We also have a segment called Dog Heroes, as well as Cool Dog Tech and Stupid Dog Tech.
We also have some of your favorite celebrities. Lin-Manuel Miranda, who did Hamilton, has been a guest. We've got Leslie Margarita.
We've had Nicole Byer, Ann Wheaton, all the best dog-related celebrities. So check us out every Tuesday on MaximumFun.org or on iTunes.
Can I pet your dog?
Can I pet your dog?
Renee and Allegra.
CIPYD.
I'm Jesse Thorne, the host of Bullseye. Bullseye's your guide to what's good in pop culture. Every week, I'll sit down with people like Elvis Costello, Elizabeth Banks, and Spike Lee to talk about their creative work and their lives. Find your new favorite TV show, book, movie, or album and gain new insights into the things you already love. That's Bullseye from MaximumFun.org and NPR.
We're back, Mark. Have you considered during that break, what do you think about introducing no ice into the mix?
On the one hand, I generally like no ice. I will do a cocktail with no ice frequently. I will drink a bottle of soda rather than a fountain soda if I know it's going to last me a while, so that it does not get watered down. I don't like it when things get watered down. That said, this is an ice episode. Like, are we going with, if we're doing an ice episode and our final decision is no ice, then we're real jerks, right?
Yeah, you're right. You know what? I wanted to float it out there. You make a very good point.
I'm going to float you out there.
Please don't, Mark.
I'm going to float you out there Viking funeral style.
No, I don't want to be.
Making a suggestion like that.
So I will blow out any fire you set on this ship. I'll blow it right out. And then I have my own ship. And I will take over the seven seas.
Did we talk about Darth Vader Yule log?
Not enough. What made you think of it?
Did we talk about it on the show?
Because of the
Viking funeral thing made me think of it. Did we talk about it on the show or did we just talk about it in life? I never remember.
I don't know. Those lines are so blurred, but you're referring to somebody made a Yule log video out of Darth Vader burning on the funeral pyre at the end of Return of the Jedi.
Very much so. And, when I was, working down in South Carolina over the holidays, I did not have a fireplace at home. And frequently I will turn on a fireplace DVD because I like having a fireplace.
Sure.
But, I was hipped to this Darth Vader fire that is a 4-hour loop of just Darth Vader burning. So it's pretty amazing. And not melting.
No, it's the same loop and it has that same crackle. I mean, it really works well as a Yule log fire. We had, Netflix has Fireplace for Your Home. They have a Yule log edition. So I put that on our TV. And one time I put on, Jennifer must have walked out of the room for a moment and I put on the Darth Vader Yule log and she came back out. She was not happy. She did not want to see Darth Vader being burned alive, during the Christmas holiday on our television set.
You know what I just realized in this moment?
What's that?
That in Star Wars The Force Awakens, the reason that his mask is all burned is because of that funeral pyre.
Wait, you're just realizing that?
Yeah. I wondered, I thought it was just like wear and tear.
Or
like,
tear?
You know, it's just like old and it's been like, how did he get, you know what? Let's not talk about that right now. We're here to talk about ice.
Wait, hold on a second.
What? Let's just not, let's not think about it, Hal. Let's not.
You already haven't thought about it. I can't wait until
I know.
I can't wait until you finally realize that the R2-D2 and C-3PO from that movie are the same ones from the original trilogy.
Can I be honest, Hal?
Please.
The reason I thought it was burnt was I was like, oh yeah, when he went over the rail at the end.
Wow.
And then I went, oh, that was the Emperor. I'm an idiot.
Grandpa Mark.
I know.
Star Wars.
I just alienated every listener that we have.
No.
You don't think I'm not happy about this?
Listen, you stand in what you know or don't know. You stand in that with pride.
But that's the thing. I've seen Return of the Jedi 1,000 times. How can my brain just made that association erroneously. And now I feel like a Star Wars idiot. Like I don't know that, you know, Darth Vader was, you know, he was burned on the pyre because he turned good at the end. That was the whole damn point.
I'll bet you
6 movies and they're all about Anakin.
I'll bet you he wished that he had ice. And he wouldn't have cared
probably,
whether it was
right?
cubed or crushed. Let me say something else about cubed versus crushed, okay? Let's talk about distribution. Okay?
All right. Like where you can buy each?
Well, no, we're talking about getting it in your glass. As we hear your gentleman's bell rattle in the background. So when you have cubed ice, okay? Say out of a refrigerator, if you have.
By the way, can I hit pause for 1 second? I actually backed away from the mic because I wanted to crunch this ice. That's how addicted I am.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, go ahead.
When you go to a refrigerator that has like the automatic distribution things, you can do cubed or crushed. The cubed ice in general comes out a lot smoother. The crushed ice looks like your refrigerator's Doc Holliday and it has TB and is just like coughing out this is like that's the last ice on earth that is coming out.
Yeah, because it's a fridge, not a Snoopy snow cone machine. Don't ask it to do more than it was designed for.
Wait, did you have one of those machines when you were a kid?
Heck yeah, I had a Snoopy snow cone machine when I was a kid. It may be the greatest toy of all time. I don't know. To be determined this year on We Got This. Look, hashtag Max Fun.
I grew up like Hodgman. I grew up an only child, so I got to have a lot of very cool toys. I do not recall ever having a Snoopy snow cone machine. I do remember my cousins, Nicole and Felicia, having a Snoopy snow cone machine that I thought was just it is a toy that makes a dessert.
Yeah.
How great is that? And every once in a while, I'll go on eBay and look at a Snoopy snow cone machine longingly. Like, oh, I want to get the one from my youth. Although
let's see how much this Snoopy snow cone machine is going to cost. I'm going to look it up right now.
Go ahead, look it up, and I will tell you. Look, if you're a big
what's your guess?
I'm going to guess a new one. A new one is probably like $20-$30, but a classic one, I'm going to guess.
Wait a minute, a new one? They still make them?
They still make them.
Shut your mouth.
As of within the last 10 years, they were still making them. I don't know if
holy cow, Crazy Art Original Snoopy Snow Cone Machine, $15.
There you go. Not willing to
we gotta
spend the
get these.
But I want the one from when I was like, I want the box. I know that sounds weird. Is that weird?
No, not for you. I've seen you steal toys out of a child's hand at a Comic-Con just because you wanted the sticker on the back of the box.
Mark, it was Jungle Rules. That kid should have held on tight.
Yeah.
You're a big lesson.
Is there a Kenner Anonymous? Is that a thing you can go to?
It's been 3 weeks since my last buy. I saw Klaatu on sale at a local flea market and I just couldn't help myself. No,
by the way, a vintage snow cone maker from 1979 is $17.
Oh, that's not bad. You know what? I may have to fork out the disposable income and not just hope that one magically shows up at my door one day.
All right there, Mr. Moneybags.
Yeah. I don't mean
look at me. I can buy a machine that makes shaved ice.
That's right. I make Snoopy snow cone machine money. I don't like to brag. It's just a fact I have.
Let's get back to our topic at hand because it's not cubed or crushed or snow cone, and this computer is down to 4%. Hal.
Okay, fine. Well, let me just say regarding the distribution that if you're at a party, okay, and you put out a bucket of ice, the cubed are so tough to get because usually it's like you have the ice bucket and then you have a pair of tongs and you have to do one ice cube at a time. You cannot get enough. Like it will take a while. It turns into a magician pulling handkerchiefs.
Look, if you're using ice cubes, if you're using large enough ice cubes, then you need one or two. That's it.
Or you do the thing where you take a cup and scoop it in to get a bunch and then put it in your cup.
Never do that with a glass. I made that mistake.
Oh, you did? You broke a glass in ice at somebody's house?
Yep. No, at work. Yeah, they had to, nobody could have ice the rest of the night in the restaurant.
What? The point I'm making is in those situations, you want crushed ice. You usually have a scoop or whatever you have.
No, because if you're the host of that party, Hal, if you're the host of that party and you set out a bucket of crushed ice, do you know what you have 5 minutes later? A bucket of water.
That's true.
On the table.
It's all a bucket of water eventually.
Within one commercial break. This is assuming you're at one of those parties where you just watch TV.
Yeah, my wife and I have parties every night.
All right, we're at 3%, Hal. We got to determine this. Because if this computer dies, then this recording goes with it, and I'm not stopping.
Okay, fine then. Are we ready to make a decision?
I feel I am. I don't know if you are. I don't know if we're on the same page on this one.
Look, I love the idea of crushed ice. I love everything that it represents. It takes up less space in the glass, okay?
Yes.
I like the distribution system for it in terms of scooping. We have a scoop for like that pebble ice.
Yes. And I like knowing that if I have an addiction that crushed ice is at least going to be slightly better for me. It's the light cigarettes of drink additives.
Yes, exactly. That being said, there's nothing, people of the world. See, I snuck up on you with it.
Oh, you did.
That defeats simple cubed ice, whatever shape it may be. Hey, get some Millennium Falcon ice. Hey, even better than that, get some DeLorean ice. Get yourself some DeLorean ice. Or any kind of weird shaped ice cube. It doesn't matter. The point is, it needs to be a cube, not crushed. Buy crushed ice. See you later. You're going to be water in a few seconds anyway. You won't care. Cubed ice rules. Ice Cube rules.
That is very true. Ice Cube rules.
He does. Asked and answered.
Thank you, as always, to our special guest, Ice Cube, who, I mean, my goodness, to come and do this when you're so busy. Thank you. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, just squeezing us into such a busy schedule says a lot about who you are. And I hope that we can be PWA podcasters with attitude.
That's right.
Could not figure out anything else to put in place of the A.
This one is solved, but there are many more topics to discuss. So please reach out to us on Twitter at We Got This Tweets, or check out the Maximum Fun subreddit. A flame war is happening right now.
Or you can hit us up on Facebook, facebook.com/We Got This Podcast, or email us at wegotThisPodcast@gmail.com.
Thank you, as always, to Jonathan Dinerstein and Mike Furman for our score and song, respectively.
Thank you to producer Ken Plume, to our researcher Kate McManus, to graphic designer Uri Kelman, and QA engineer Jen Alba.
And of course, thank you, as always, to you, our listeners. Guys, we love you.
We do.
And we thank you.
We do.
And this is so fun, and you make this so fun.
You do.
See, look at us agreeing.
We're in such agreement. All the time we agree.
Well, most of the time.
Yeah.
When I'm not driving you crazy. For Hal Lublin, I'm Mark Gagliardi.
For Mark Gagliardi, I'm Hal Lublin. And don't worry, everybody.
We got this.
We got this.
MaximumFun.org.
Comedy and culture. Artist owned.
Listener supported.